Hey, what's up? So, a buddy of mine just found out today that he is diagnosed with like three kinds of fucking stage four cancer, and and he's understandably really freaked out about it. And after like giving him some words of encouragement and some practical advice, which I'm not going to get into at this moment because that's not what this video is about. Is it got me thinking about how we are not qualified to be able to know what's good or bad for us. Because we're not taught to like look for the silver lining. That there's always something good that can come out of a negative situation, and that like it's so easy for us to put attachment onto things and be like, well, this is good and this is bad, and I want this to happen and I don't want this to happen. But there's good things that can come out of bad stuff, but it's down the pike, it's down the road, and we don't know what kind of good can come out of stuff. We don't know how what kind of good things can how things can be turned into good account. For instance, in 2004, I got really sick and I almost died. And I was really sick for like 6 years, and it was bad. Like my skin was gray, my hair was falling out, my teeth and my nails itched. I mean, it was awful, and I couldn't find a Western doctor that could help me. They just didn't know what was going on, and I ended up finding an MD who was a naturopath, and we ended up getting it figured out, but it took a long time, and it had a negative impact in my life that still, I mean, like I have, it still affects me to this day. But there's been the positive things that have come. There's been positive things that have come out of that I can appreciate because I can see that kind of perspective. Like would I had rather have not gone through that? Fuck yeah, you bet your britches. I wouldn't have. Fuck no, I wouldn't want to have gone through that. That shit was awful. I wouldn't wish that shit on anybody. But there has been good that has come out of it, and some of those examples have been I met other people who were walking through really scary health issues that were similar to mine, and I was and it's a really lonely thing. It can be a very lonely, isolating experience, and it totally can stain your perception and your perspective and everything. It stains your whole life. And I was able to connect with those people and let them know, like, hey, I know how lonely this feels, but hey, like, this is what I did to get help. This is how you can advocate for yourself, and just in that moment, like, be able to connect with them and let them know that, like, they aren't alone and that somebody understands, and that there's hope, that they don't have to give up, and that they can have hope, and being able to do that for somebody else is awesome. I wouldn't have been able to do that without going through that experience myself, and there's been other times where, like, something I don't like happens, but it ends up turning out, in the weeks to come or the months to come or years to come, looking, down the road, looking back, I can see hindsight. Hindsight's always 20/20, and there's been things that have happened where I don't like it at the time, but then it comes to find out, like, oh man, I'm so glad it worked out like that. And it's like, we just don't know, and it can be something horrible. Like horrible things can happen that can be devastating. But it ends up that there's some sort of good that can come out of it. And as long as we're not attached to this, like, victim mentality of, like, oh, why is this happening to me? Like, it's not personal, like, things just happen. It's not happening to us. It's happening for us as an opportunity to challenge, like, either challenge our old ideas and belief systems so that we can let go and grow and address some sort of suffering in some corner or crevice of our soul that like we haven't addressed, so that we can expand more and become more ourselves, and to be able to become more of a human being, or something, or we got to walk through something really awful, and it'll make us stronger. It'll make us stronger of a human being, and it also allows us to be able to help somebody else down the road, and so but we can't see that shit if we got the cart before the horse. We can't be of use to ourselves. We can't be authentic. We can't be for other people, be in the moment, available for other people, if we have the cart before the horse. Like if we're selfish, if we can't tell the truth, if we can't be honest, if we can't be ourselves, if we have no foundation, then there is no house to be built. You cannot build a house without a foundation, and not just going through tough times and being cold and bitter and shut down. That's not the answer either. Like going through tough times, experiencing it, and letting it tear apart your heart and your soul, and feeling all of that and experiencing it, and not fighting it. That is the stuff that ultimately makes us grow, because we're taught to like be shut down and be cold and be a rock, or an iron like an iron curtain or whatever, and it's like, and that poisons us too. Like it doesn't do us any good to be shut off from ourselves and the ones that love us, and that shuts us off from the universe. Like, we're all human beings, and it's they say it's a sign of the strength to feel your feelings, but no one ever explains why. Why it's a sign of strength and why it actually makes you stronger is because of what I think I already went into that it allows us to become more ourselves. It allows us to become. It expands our perspective. It expands our insight. It expands like what we're capable of. Because when I feel and process shit, when I get to the other side, it makes me more capable because I'm less affected by the world around me. That's what makes me stronger. That's why feeling our feelings makes us more mature, and it makes me more of a man, and it gives me the strongest ground to stand on, because I'm not reactionary to the world around me. Like shit can happen and it doesn't bother me because I can see the big picture that person can't. I know who I am. I know who I'm not. I know where I stand. I know what I'm capable of, and in feeling my feelings, and walking through horrible stuff, and having that shift of perspective that has taken me 15 years to like that I got and developed and understand and cultured and cultivated and nurtured. Like I understand this process, and I understand how the universe treats us and reciprocates. Because if I'm shut down and I'm cold and I'm bitter, that's what the universe is giving me. But if I walk through shit and I allow that shit to pass, if I wear life like a loose cloak, then what that allows me to do, and being vulnerable, is it makes me stronger, and it makes me a superior man. It makes me more loving. It makes me more humble. It makes me more attractive. It makes me and it gives me strength and power and an unshakable, just absolutely unshakable, just an unshakable foundation. And yeah, so I want to. I wanted to share this. I wanted to pass this along. Like, hey, you don't have to. you don't have to think that your world has to be small on the inside. You don't have to feel like you have to be completely blocked off for the rest of the world to like feel okay or to feel safe or to feel loved or to feel like to navigate through this world that I know what it's like. I remember. I mean, like I grew up in a very abusive environment where for a long time, like I had to be shut down. I didn't cry for years, and I didn't I was cold and angry and and bitter, and I thought that that's all that the world had to offer me, and I was filled with so much hate that I didn't want to kill myself. I just wanted to take it out on everyone else, and I haven't been that way in a long time, and my world is so much bigger than that, and I understand what a long dark train to nowhere that is. People who are there are really really lost, and I don't necessarily want to be around them, and I don't know how much compassion I feel or could offer around the behavior, their behavior. I definitely don't like their behavior, but I I understand. I know how it goes, and I've had to walk through so much myself that I struggled for a long time thinking that things couldn't ever be any different, or things could never be better, or that um, or that things could ever change, and I know and I believe that um, uh, I know and believe the things that I could never have um, known before, and I know that peace and love, inner peace and self love are they're things that I can practice today because I've challenged myself for so long. I didn't have any reason to love or accept or like myself for a long time, because I didn't understand. I didn't understand those. I didn't understand the symptoms. I didn't understand my limitations. I didn't understand that like it wasn't my fault. I didn't understand that things could be any different. And it was there were things that were beyond my control, and there are things that since between now and then I've been able to address, and I know how to fix stuff, and I know how to change, and I know how to heal, and I know how to grow, and it's left me with a better understanding of not only myself and the world at large, but it's really connected me to the organic experience of the universe, and build and cultivate a reciprocative relationship, and it's interesting, man. The physics of life in the universe is a trippy thing, and it's simple, and it's clean, and it's elegant, and it's a beautiful thing, and I'm happy to share. I'm happy to talk about it. I'm happy to share what I found, and to know that I've connected to what many people have tried to write about for hundreds and thousands of years, and it's so much simpler than we tell ourselves. It's so much simpler than we try to make it, and it doesn't have to. Life doesn't have to be a hopeless thing to endure. It's there's a limitless potential for good. That's all that exists. Is a limitless potential for good. The seamless everything that we are a part of and we get to experience. It's a beautiful thing.